Everyone, DEFCON here, and I'm doing part 3 of Let's Build a Side-Scrolling Shooter. So let's just hop in here, and I'm also going to show you a new problem that Media Molecule missed on their recent DLC update, which is sort of a problem with doing this tutorial right now. So let's just hop in the ship to show you the problem. Alright, so as you can see, I'm shooting my shots out of the emitter just fantastically. That's great. The problem is that if I select my emitter, and I go to choose my object, and I select the select object function out of the emitter output, I select my shot, which is what I did in the last video. It's the exact same thing again. Basically, your object won't emit anymore. So any object you capture through the emitter outputter, or whatever you want to call it, or the emitter capture tool, won't work. You have to copy this object into your inventory for it to work. So you have to do everything totally old school, like Little Big Planet 1 again. So sort of a big screw up on Media Molecule's part, missing this on the DLC. It sort of shows how little testing they do of it, and how much they care about the DLC as opposed to the creation tools that they put into the game. So here we go. I've copied it in my inventory, and I've gone into the emitter and menu and then used that object instead. Oops, no I didn't. I lied. Haha. Now I'm using my object. So as you can see now, it's actually in my emitter space there. So just something to note if you're building and you're trying to capture objects, don't get frustrated. You didn't do anything wrong. So let's continue on from there. I also did miss one thing in the last video, which was the point scoring system. So let's go and finish that off real quick. So you need an emitter and you need an impact sensor, or sorry, a tag sensor. There we go. So just connect the tag sensor to the emitter and set the emitter to one shot. And you only want about 3, and you want them to disappear. Actually, you know what, I'm going to go with 2. So the theory is that you emit the score bubble right over where your guy plays in the controlinator, and then you just get the point for it. It does work. You might need to remotely send the points, but we're going to do that in I will do that in a later tutorial for you to see how that works. So just to test that it works, we're just going to set up the tag sensor. Now you need the radius to be bigger than your play area, so I'm just going to set it to around 300. And set this to P1 score. So when this shot hits the enemy, it's going to change to output 2 of the selector, and it's going to activate this tag for a split second, which is P1 score, and then kill the shot. So that's what we're dealing with there in regards to that. And to test that, you first need to add the actual point that you get. Just use the one in your level kit, because again, copying it out of the level will not work. It works for it glitches across all the objects in the game, so it's actually the emitter that's screwed up. FYI on all the programmers, if you actually watch any of the stuff I do. Okay. So I can't test the point system right now, but you're just gonna have to trust me. I'm gonna make the enemy so we can show you the points falling behind the ship. So to make the enemy, oops, you're going to need a 4x4 piece of holographical material. I would use a sticker material, but not everybody has it. It's like, even if I didn't have the move pack, I would so want to buy the move DLC for the paint program. There's nothing that's you know, limiting somebody with a controller to having a different experience that somebody has a move wand or move controller. Alright, so once you have your 4x4 down, put your microchip on it. And we're going to deal with the hit system first. So what we need to do is have a impact sensor. And we don't discriminate, again, between player 1 to player 4's shot. So the only thing we care about is that we get hit by a green tag that's called laser. just to confirm that, just go over to your shot and confirm that this says laser and it's green. Perfect. So that's all I need to worry about there. Now how do we track the health? Well, it's pretty simple. Just use counters. For testing purposes, we're going to make the counters only one. Okay, so when that input sensor is hit, or that impact sensor is hit, we're going to activate that counter and it's going to count to 1 right away. Now what we want to happen when it gets hit is that it's going to change its color to red. So let's go ahead and change this to red right now. And I want it to be its normal color health to be, or its normal color when it's at full health to be white. So you need to go down to when the color's off and change that to white, and 100%. It's probably a bit hard for you to see what I'm doing, but just trust me. Okay. So go ahead and connect that first counter to your holographic enemy, and then go into your pop-up and grab an AND gate. And this is where we're going to add the second tier for the health. There's a bit of a problem they have here is that there's no propagation time delay, and probably none of you know what I'm talking about, or some of the older people might know that watch my videos, is that when you send a signal through a piece of circuitry, there's actually a time delay for it to go from the input to the output, whereas with these types of electronics, there is no delay. So when I send a signal through the AND gate or this, there's no difference in time delay for it reaching this AND gate and when it's going through another device. So what I need to do is take this output of this counter and connect it to this timer. I'm going to set this timer to 0.1 second, and then connect that output to the input of the AND gate. Because there's no delay, there's no propagation between the two. So if I were to shoot it, the enemy would just die right away because the AND gate would get turned on. You just have to take my word for it. I could probably show you, but it's sort of a waste of my time to go and do that all. Alright, so just take the output of the AND gate and connect it to another counter. So I have two 1-to-1 counters, or 1-count counters. And the last thing I need is a kill thing, or a destroyer. A nice effect is the explosion effect. Okay, now, there's also one other issue that happens here, and I'll move the enemy down to show you. Hey, look, you guys don't have to ask me what I play for my music now too. I just put it on my PS3. It saves me a lot of editing time too, which is fantastic. Okay, so watch the shot as it hits the enemy. It goes right through the enemy. We don't want that to happen, because if there's like 5 other enemies behind him, he's going to hit all those enemies, and he's just going to be cheesing points. We don't want that, so what is happening that's not working here is that this impact sensor is not getting active on the actual shot. So let's just go and put a tag called enemy on the enemy, and that's all it's missing. So if you're curious as to why your shots are going through the enemy and you're not getting points for them, is that you haven't put this tag on the enemy yet. So there we go. So when I hit the enemy, sure enough, it gets hit for 1 health. I get 1 point because my shot disappeared, and it's ready to get shot with its next shot. So I'll just hop in here, shoot it. Boom. Alright. Now, I didn't see my prize bubble drop, so let's watch it and see if that falls. Okay, it did fall. Okay, perfect. So that's it for your scoring system and the enemy health. The player health will be similar. I'm not going to do the player health in this video. It'll be, again, done in a later video because it will be a bit repetitive to do the same thing twice in this video. So the last thing I'll do is the movement of the enemy, which is very, very simple. So how we do that is we use a randomizer. So a randomizer will activate one of the things its output is connected to. So if you have 5 things connected to it, you're only going to have 1 thing active. There's different settings for the randomizer for patterns and whatnot, but I like just 1 at a time, not add. 1 at a time, there we go. So you want to be careful of the pattern that you set as well in the randomizer. You can sort of screw with your head if you think you set it up right. Okay, so there's going to be 3 movements. Oops, I'm screwing up big time here. Alright, there's going to be 3 movements that the enemy is going to have. He's going to move left, up, and down. So let's deal with the moving up part first. Okay, so we want it to move up 2 units at 100% acceleration. You need to keep your deceleration. It's very important to keep your deceleration. So let's just see what happens here. So he's moving up, that's crazy, that's great, but there's a big problem here. He keeps going through the level, so he's suffering the same issue that the player would have if he tries to keep moving through the level. Very simply remedied by using the detection or the wall detection circuit that he had in the first video, I think it was. Yeah, first video. So just copy that over. And the only thing we need to change on these is, or to confirm, is that this impact sensor is for the top. And sure enough it is for the top key. So I'm just going to connect my randomizer to that first input, because that's my control. And connect that and gate output to my mover. So this will move now. Or actually, yeah, that's right. Okay. So let's do it for the bottom now. So again, 2 things you need to do for the bottom is change your movement to -2 on the vertical, and make sure that this key is bottom key. Alright, connect your randomizer there. So remember, I'm only going to have this or this active, and I'm missing one other movement, which is left. I don't have any condition for not moving left. Maybe I could add like a kickback feature where if the enemy gets hit, he falls back a couple units. That's not really in my interest right now. That's more of something for you as a creator to do, and take this to the next level and do something that you find is interesting to you, and put it in the game. Really, that's what makes a game unique, is that you have something that you understand that nobody else really has a view on, and you can express that. That's the most important thing about creating in this game, is your individualism. Okay, so test that. So when he moves down, sure enough, he didn't go all the way down, he didn't keep moving through the wall. One big problem I have here is that he's not moving to the left, so let's solve that right now. And I actually found when I made this earlier is that having it move to the left all the time actually makes it look better, I find. And it's still not moving to the left because I haven't changed the values of the mover, because I'm stupid. Alright, so change that, and turn off your vertical, so you just want your -2 horizontal. So there you go. So no matter what happens, this enemy won't go out of bounds on the up and down, but it will go out of bounds over here. The reason why you want it to go out of bounds over here is you want to add like a kill area that the player can't see that kills the enemies off, so you can spawn more enemies. So what you do is you take a big holographical wall, and then put the laser tag on it, and then would just keep hitting the laser tag, or you'd have it flash the laser tag, it would pulse, and then that would just kill enemies that come through. And the other thing about that is that you wouldn't be awarding the players with points for killing those enemies, which is what you don't want to have happen. So that's pretty much it for this video. Thanks for watching. Hopefully these will get more views. They're not doing as well as I thought they would. It just seems better to do these and fast forward and put music up, but I don't know, I don't really care about doing that anymore. It just feels more natural, or feel more comfortable doing it like this. So hopefully you like this, and in the next video we'll do enemy spawn patterns, the player health bar, and then hopefully they'll resolve this emitter issue by that time, so I can add the other couple players in, because I don't want to add them into the objects menu, because, well, it's very hard to discriminate between objects in this. I don't like labeling things because I don't have a keyboard and it takes forever. But anyways, thanks for watching. See ya.